Yes, welcome back to Just Before You Got Your Bed. Your girl, Connie J.E. I'm in high spirits indeed today. Why, you may be asking? Because I am alive and well. Is all things good? Not everything is in its place, but I give God thanks for His mercy and His grace. What about you? In all things, we must give thanks, and I cannot say it enough. All is because of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And I introduce Him to you today one more time. If you have not yet come into an intimate relationship with God, you want to do it now. This is the time. So to all my peeps out there, you are watching whether via Facebook, via YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok, or you're listening via the radio app, however you are tuned in, thank you so much. And I want to give you a special gift this evening, and that is our Savior, Jesus Christ. Will you come into a relationship with Him? All you have to do, if you have Bible questions, reach out. We have our ministerial ministry here at Flashpoint Media, ready to talk with you, ready to do Bible counseling with you, ready to walk with you as you enter into that relationship. The doors are open. All you have to do is just reach out and send a message. And I just want to give, a shout out. The weather nice, like, little bit of rain here, little cloud this, little sun this. And why is it nice? Because in anticipation for the things I like the best, the most, mangoes. Ooh, I can't tell you enough. So mango season, may I drive past place. May I watch the mango tree, then may I see the mango, may I make my list for who may I have to ask. But I know that my listeners, my viewers, you not make me go and beg nobody nothing. I know you'll be taking those baskets of mangoes, East Indian, Namdok, Jolie, Blackie, stringy. Yes, me love string. Don't worry about it. It helps my teeth. Good to go. Bring them all in here at studio right here at Flashpoint Media. I'm trusting and I'm counting on you. Anybody feeling pain? Your gas up, back pain, sciatic nerve. Fantastic that you're feeling that way. Why? Because in a little bit, the healing Jesus will administer healing to you, and this too shall pass. Isn't God good? And again, we are celebrating women, the month of March, celebrating women. What a fantastic being you all are, women. Fantastic, unique. The wisest man, Solomon, said, the man that created woman is a crafty man. And I so agree. The intricacies of woman, it's like nothing else. Unique. So God, crafty when He designed women. Can you see a world without women in it? Absolutely not. So as the month of March continues, we celebrate you at this time. So I want to say shout out to all the women here at Flashpoint Media, fantastic women. Want to say shout out to my mother, patriarch of our family, still sexy and nice. I saw her on Sunday and I want to dress above her knee. She look good. I don't want nobody around down my mother though. You understand? Nobody run her down. Men, please. So don't run her down, but she's still very sexy, look good, nice and clean. To my aunts, my sisters, listen, if you have not yet gotten into my family, you have just lost a diamond in the rough. So sorry. Because the women are beautiful, fantastic, brilliant, firm and strong. I think maybe I'm the weakest of all. I'm very soft and very quiet. You see me, I don't stir the water. I'm just that little quiet one that's, over to the side and thing like that. You only hear me when I'm on my show, my chatter, whatever. Yeah, but other than that. But to all the women and the female colleagues I have, I want to say a shout out to you tonight. Amazing. Now, again, you can be a part of this conversation. If you know of any woman or women that we want to shout out to, you can just drop them on the chat and we'll shout them out for you. Chat to me, because, tonight we'll be talking about women you'd love to hate, but you just can't. You just can't. So if you know a woman or women like that, please share with us. And remember now, like, subscribe, and share. Don't go anywhere. Just before you go to your bed, we'll continue with the women we'd love to hate but just can't. While you like, subscribe, and share. Run, go ahead, quick. Get your water, get your tea, get your champagne. Come back, sit down, lounge with me while we chat a little bit. And, tell a friend that the quiet Connie J.E. is on tonight.
Join us for an unforgettable evening of praise and worship. Clifton Hunter High School presents One Voice, One Praise, happening on Saturday, March 28, 2026 at 6 p.m. at the Clifton Hunter High School Performance Hall. Come and experience powerful performances by students, teachers, churches in the community, special guest visitors. Adults $10, children $5. All proceeds go towards supporting the Key Club and Spanish Venture. Don't miss this uplifting night of worship, unity, and inspiration. See you there.
Yes, so welcome back to Just Before You Go to Your Bed. I'm rocking to the tune that's in my head as we celebrate women. You and I celebrating me and us and all that look like me. So we're talking about women we'd love to hate, but we just can't, as we celebrate women in the month of March. So there are a few women that we'd love to hate. And, I can think of one was brought to me, not that I forgot about her, but I didn't, put on this, but there are a few. We have Eve. Men says that Eve is the woman that brought sin into the world. We love to hate her, but facts tell us that we can't. And I'm going to dive into it. Martha Stewart, also a friend brought that to me. And, you'd love to hate her because she was, charged for fraud and, went to prison. But it was like Martha Stewart didn't even go to prison because she came back brighter, happier, richer, just bouncing. People think about Kim Kardashian, a woman you love to hate, but somehow, to the tune of the world, have the life that many people desire. Not necessarily one that I would say is great, but what I actually like about Kim Kardashian is the fact that she has, lent her voice and her status in pushing legal reform. She has a foundation that now helps persons that have been incarcerated looking back at their case and everything, because they say they were innocent and facts were given, or they're looking at the facts and it seems to be true. They go ahead, they prove it, and if so, that the person incarcerated is found to be innocent, or evidence proof to that fact, they drive it. She has also been known to lend her voice for appeal to the president and so forth, and gotten quite a few convictions overturned. So you might want to hate her, but you just can't. You might not like the body, or you may like the body, you may not like the lifestyle, but you have to like the fact that she's lending her voice for a good cause. Many may not like, Marilyn Monroe. You may not like Cleopatra. All have been said, propagandas have been spread that they were seductress, or for Marilyn maybe a dumb blonde, but the reality is well learned, politically smart and savvy, lent their voices to reforms. For Marilyn Monroe, it was the movie Control, how you control the artists or the actresses, their career, what women were being paid. She lent her voice to that reform and change. Cleopatra, of course, one of those African queens, of course, that spearheaded the turned technology, was very tech savvy. And when we say tech savvy, in those days it was all about strategic planning, knowing how to run an army. All of that she was able to put together, and had one of the richest, next to Solomon, of course, dynasty or kingdoms at the time. Wonderful to know these women exist. You want to spread the propaganda, you want not to love them, but you simply can't. But there's this woman I want to share with you, Phulan Devi from India. This woman, I like her a lot. So born 10th of August 1965th of July 2001, popularly known as the Bandit Queen. Yes, indeed, the Bandit Queen. So she was an Indian dacoit, or bandit, translated bandit, who became a politician. Can you imagine? Street and bandit and do our thing, became a politician, serving as a member of parliament until her assassination. Again, you want to hate her, but you can't. You may have sent assassinators and killed her, but hey, her legacy lives on. She was a woman of the Malaya sub-state, and who grew up in poverty in the village of Uttar Pradesh, where her family was on the losing side of a land dispute which caused them many problems. Now, after being married off at the age of 11 and being sexually abused by various people, she joined a gang of bandits. And what her band of bandits, what they did was they would rob the higher caste villages and held up trains and vehicles. And when she punished her rapists, because multiple, and evaded capture by the authorities, she became a heroine to the other backward classes who saw her as a Robin Hood figure. And we know Robin Hood steal from the rich and give to the poor. Phulan did that for her people. And she became, as we said, the Bandit Queen. So she was charged in 1981 for the Bhimaya massacre, in which 20 Thakur men were killed allegedly on her command. You see, those were the group of men that kidnapped her from her home and raped her continuously until her escape, and she went back and sought revenge. And because of this massacre, even the chief minister of that region had to resign because of the effect she had on their area. So 2 years later, she surrendered after carefully negotiating a settlement, and she spent 11 years in Gwalior prison awaiting trial. So she never get the trial, you know. And she's in there 11 years waiting for this trial. She was then released in 1994 after her charges were set aside. Her slate wasn't wiped clean, it was just set aside. Anyway, she subsequently became a politician and was elected as a member of the parliament in 1996. She lost her seat in 1998 but regained it the following year. You want to hate her, but you just can't. So she was the incumbent at the time of her death in 2001. She was assassinated outside her home by Sher Singh Rana, who was convicted of the murder 13 years later. I'm just saying to myself, what? So it took 13 years to tie this thing up. Okay, fine. You would love to hate her, but we cannot deny, coming from poverty, coming from all the setbacks that would ruin any woman, any person, Fulan Devi decided to face it, use what she have. We're not glorifying her era as the bandit queen, but those who were suppressed and oppressed saw her as the Robin Hood figure, because she gave back to the poor. And the idea, the thought that a woman can become a bandit queen is so amazing. Well, we go to India, and now we'll jump back to African American. This woman, Asata Shakur, born Joanne Deborah Bryan in July 16th of 1947, passed away September 25, 2025, so just last year, was an American political activist, revolutionary, and fugitive who was a member of the Black Panther Party and later the Black Liberation Army. So when I was younger, this girl rocking it, you see what I mean? Changed her name. So in 1977, so that's just a little ways back, she was convicted of first-degree murder of a New Jersey state trooper. His name is Werner Forster, during a shootout on the New Jersey Turnpike in 1973. She escaped from prison in 1979 and was wanted by the FBI. And guess what? Back then, with $1 million reward for information leading to her capture, and an additional $1 million reward offered by the New Jersey Attorney General. She was never caught and remained a fugitive for 45 years. So she got involved with, political activism. And she went to college. She went to the Borough of Manhattan Community College and the City College of New York. And after graduating is when she adopted the name Asata Shakur, and then briefly joined the Black Panther, as I said before, but then later becoming a member of the BLA. But between 71 and 73, she was charged with several crimes leading to multiple state manhunt for this girl, right? And so on May 2nd, 1973, her two friends, they had a shootout on the New Jersey Turnpike. The state trooper died. One of her friends died. She and one friend got injured. And at the 1977 trial, they charged her for the death and wounding of the two officers. Now, multiple charges were brought to her, and so she was sentenced to life in prison plus 26 to 33 years on top of the life sentence. I don't know how you serve that. Because if you get a life sentence and then you say, okay, you're maybe somebody who know the legal stuff, the logistics of the legal meds can explain this to us. So she was sentenced to life in prison plus 26 to 33 years in prison. So life then they may add on. You shall go serve that, okay? But she maintained that she could not have fired the shots that wounded one officer and killed the other, because she was right-handed and the right arm was wounded earlier in the confrontation. So while serving her sentence at the Clinton Correctional Facility for Women in New Jersey, Shakur escaped in 1979 with the assistance of members of the BLA and the May 19 Communist Organization. She was granted political asylum, and guess where? In Cuba in 1984. So Cuba, America, not really jelly. And that's where she got her asylum, and where she resided for the remainder of her life, despite ongoing efforts by the U.S. government to secure her extradition. In 2013, the FBI added her to its FBI Most Wanted Terrorists list under the name Joanne Deborah Chesimard, making her the first woman to be listed. You want to hate her, but you can't. So she's the first woman to be listed on the FBI Most Wanted Terrorists. I don't see the terrorist business well, let's not call it little, because someone did lose, two persons lost their life in that shootout. So a little shootout. But I don't see where that shootout would have fallen on the title of terrorism, right? But the FBI says so, and so she's the first woman to have fallen under that. Anyway, Shakur died on September 25th, 2025, at the age of 78, according to the Cuban Foreign Ministry. You wanna hate her? Not true. And I'm sure some persons do, but you just can't linger, because guess what? This woman revolutionized, yes, that's the right word, right? But here we can make up words as well. So, and brought out to the fact that women, we can partake in things that seems dangerous. We can lend our voices to reform and change. Mind you, we do not ever want anyone to lose their lives or become radicals to, like extremists and all of that, terrorists and all that. We don't condone any of that. But of course, you can lend your voice. And if you're one that, you're like those free birds, that wild spirit, of course, hone it in by lending your voice and your passion to something that will benefit women and the rest of the world. Now, This one you definitely want to hate. I don't know. I don't think you can. This woman is Elizabeth Ann Holmes. Elizabeth Holmes, born February 3, 1984, is an American biotech entrepreneur who was convicted of fraud in connection with her health technology company, Theranos. And I tell you, when you Google Elizabeth, the first thing that comes up, and it's even under her name, American fraudster. Not, an entrepreneur, not a revolutionary, not, woman that made strides anywhere. The fact that she had America believing in her, the first thing that comes up right under her name is American fraudster. They are so angry at her that you go to Wikipedia, you Google her anywhere, and that's the first thing, American fraudster. You want to hate her, but can you really? Well, let's see. Let's find out. So Holmes founded Theranos in 2003, and its valuation soared in the early 2010s after it claimed to have revolutionized blood testing by developing methods that needed only very small volumes of blood. So just from a finger prick. So in 2015, Forbes had named Holmes the youngest and wealthiest self-made female billionaire in the United States on the basis of a $9 billion valuation of her company. The company valued $9 billion, brethren. She was the youngest and wealthiest self-made female billionaire. In the following year, however, 2016, as accusations of fraud about Theranos' claim began to surface, Forbes revisited its estimate of Holmes' net worth to zero. So from 9 billion to zero. And Fortune named her in its feature article on the world's 19 most disappointing leaders. I pause on that. So before, everybody was bragging about her. Everybody was totally amazed. Youngest and wealthiest self-made female billionaire. In the United States, the valuation of her company, $9 billion. But a year later, start digging in, certain things were coming forward. Forbes revisited their evaluation of her, and so from $9 billion to zero. And Fortune named her in its featured article the world's 19 most disappointing leaders. Elizabeth found herself there. All right, so the decline of her company began in 2015 when a series of journalistic and regulatory investigations revealed doubts about the company's claims and whether Holmes had been truthful with investors and the government. In 2018, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission charged Theranos, Holmes, and former Theranos Chief Operating Officer Ramesh Sunny Balwani with raising $700 million from investors through a fraud involving false or exaggerated claims about the accuracy of the company's blood testing technology. Holmes settled the charges by paying $500,000. No admit, no deny fine. Returning 18.9 million shares to the company, relinquishing her voting control of Theranos and accepting a 10-year ban from serving as an officer or director of a public company. You want to hate her, don't you? But to think of the mind this girl has on her, that she could have brought such a fraud, exaggerated these claims, government bought in. How could she? It just goes to show the brilliance this girl has. Can you imagine if she had used it to the benefit and glory of her Heavenly Father, what greatness she would have spearheaded? Integrity is a thing, but I can't hate her because she's such an amazing girl. So Holmes was in a romantic relationship with Balwani, the guy that she was, charged with defrauding these investors. And so this relationship was throughout most of Theranos' history. Holmes and Balwani jointly ran the company with a dysfunctional corporate culture of secrecy and fear, according to employees. Staff also claimed that those who raised concerns or objections were usually marginalized or fired by the peer. Following the collapse of Theranos, Holmes started dating hotelier William Billy Evans, whom she married in 2019 and with whom she had 2 children, one born 2021 and the other in 2023. But the federal government wasn't just gonna sit there and watch. So in June 2018, a federal grand jury indicted Holmes and Balwani on fraud charges. Her trial in the case of U.S. versus Holmes ended in January 2022 when Holmes was convicted of defrauding investors and acquitted of defrauding patients. She was sentenced to serve 11 and a quarter years at the federal prison camp Bryan beginning on May 30th, 2023, and they were both ordered to pay $452 million in restitution to victims of the fraud. I think that part is very fair, very fair. You defrauded the victims. We're thinking this technology is going to boom, revolutionize the place and all of that. But we hurt people along the way when we trick them, when you bring fraud. But I'm just amazed at the mindset they how her mind is working to be able to pull off such a great feat. Such a great feat. So Elizabeth Holmes, you'd love to hate her, but you can't, because this is a brilliant woman. Stay tuned. When we come back, I'll talk to you about the woman, quite smart, Chinese. You'd love to hate her, the things she did, or what she has done. But being the first, sometimes people won't like it. The things you do to keep ahead. Celebrating Women continues in the month of March.
Need help to produce your podcast? Flashpoint Media makes it very easy. We can relieve you of the headache by recording your podcast for you. So, take the first step to getting your content to your desired audience. Contact us here at Flashpoint and your podcast will be live in no time. Our website is www.flashpointmedia.ky or call us at 345-321-6969. That's a 345-321-6969.
Celebrating women in the month of March, just before you go to your bed, it's talking about women you love to hate, but you just can't. We talked about the bandit queen Fulan Devi from India. We talked about Elizabeth Holmes, the woman that defrauded even the government with such savvy mindset. We talk about Asatar Sakur being the first woman to be on the FBI most wanted terrorist list, dying in Cuba just last year, September 25, 2025. And I want to come now. So we've done India, we've done America twice, and now I want to go over into a lovely era, a lovely place called China. And I hope I'm pronouncing this name correctly, because mind you, I'm Jamaican with a Caymanian dialect, so bear with me if I'm not pronouncing the word or the names correctly. So Wu Zetian. Did I pronounce that right? Or is that the Jamaican translation and pronunciation? Zetian. Wu Zetian. So Empress Wu Zetian from 1624 died 16th of December 705. Commonly known as Wu Zetian, personally named Wu Zhao, was the only female sovereign in the history of China. Aren't you just amazed? The only female sovereign in China. What is it that a woman cannot do? Please share with me. She had previously held power as the Empress consort of Emperor Gaozong of the Tang Dynasty from 6060 to 6083, and as Empress Dowager during the reigns of her sons, Emperors Zhozong and Ruizong. Listen now, if me not pronounce it good, I mean declaration already. Right? She was the sole ruler of the self-styled Zhao dynasty from 690 to 705. In her early life, Wu served as a concubine of Emperor Taizong. After his death, she married his successor. He said, woman, yeah, I know idiot. She understand. She's reading the room. You want eat her, but you simply can't. Okay? And as it goes further, you are going to want eat her more, but you simply can't. Huh? So, concubine to Emperor Taizong. After his death, she married his successor, Emperor Gaozong, becoming empress in 655. Wu exercised substantial political influence even before her election and gradually came to dominate court affairs. The woman, bright, brilliant, smart. After Gaozong suffered a massive stroke in 660, she effectively administered the empire on his behalf until his death in 683. So think about it. From 660, he had a stroke, and she administered and effectively looked about the empire until his death in 683. breaking with precedent, who then consolidated power and prevented her sons from ruling. You know, come dash me out, she said. Because you know is, you know how it is. Need I say more? You know how it is. So she consolidated and prevented her sons from ruling. So in 690, she proclaimed the Zhou dynasty in place of the Tang and crowned herself emperor. Listen, she made me laugh. Me like it. Do I love the shenanigans? I certainly do, don't you? Absolutely. So she'll make it known. You know what? I've been concubine. Me have to turn around and marry this one because if me ain't do it, me I got to hold the concubine spot and I'm going to chop off my head because brilliant together. So me have to go do something. So I make sure I put myself on, get myself in there so I become the wife and everything. And you know what? I'm learning the ropes because I'm brilliant. So politically, me set myself. So me push myself in there till me all dominate court affairs. Me have a voice for every little 1-2 thing where I go on. And so when the little husband now get the massive stroke and thing, me I run the affairs, him still good. Because I can't make nobody come in and usurp the throne and take over. Because guess what? She gonna drop back down a concubine level. And I can't do that. How me I gonna do that? No. Make sure so me have the two sons them. I'm not even think me trust them because if me is the mother with this brain, that mean the two sons are too straight. Neither. Not true. When you think about it, them probably say, say mommy needs to sit her foot, put it up on a chair, we're going to put her somewhere. And she know that. Two boy take over. So she makes sure so she come together and consolidating and say, here what? We're not going to relax. And you know what? No more Tang Dynasty. You see me? Call it after my name. It can be say our original name is Wu Zhao. Zhao. Z-H-A-O. I hope I pronounce it right. Zhao. So she proclaimed the Zhou dynasty in place of the Tang. So we are dash her Tang. And we are drink Zhou, And crowned herself. I don't need enough to put on my head. I can do it myself. So me just boom. Crown myself. Emperor. She bad. So anyways, and look here now. This is impressive. 45-year reign. This woman ruled China for 45 years. Talk truth. And a good rule in that. Now, if you don't agree with me, tell me, because maybe I do the full history on her. You get me? I'm going to know some little backstories. But if you know them, send it in the chat and tell me. Because if you're not impressed by who, me impressed. She crowned all herself. Do you see the woman is strategic? I like it. So during her 45-year de facto reign over China, Wu institutionalized the use of informants. Right? And enforced stringent legal measures. If you not think you're not going to usurp me through honor. She purged. This part me never really like. Me never really like that part here. Me see the need and me understand the strategic plan. But this me never like. But anyways, to each his own back in them the days. She purged members of the Tang royal house and veteran officials from earlier administration. She purged out the house. So maybe the purging could be that, she removed them from political arena. I don't know if she purged, as purge mean to wash out, get rid of, forever kind of a thing. You can tell me. But she got rid of them. Reformed the civil service system to promote merit. patronized Buddhism as well as literature and the arts, and conducted military campaigns against Turkic and Tibetan insurgents. So I hope I'm pronouncing the word correctly. Bear with me. It's just before we go to bed, right? Her rule formed part of the High Tang period, a historic peak in China's political power and cultural influence. I like that. I like that. So, the historic peak in China's political power and cultural influence was pushed and sparked and built by Wu Zhang. In her later years, her governance became increasingly autocratic and extravagant. She was removed from power in the Shenglong coup, which abolished the dynasty, restored the Tang, and she died a few months later. But I got to say, you can't hate her. You would love to. Maybe some of the things were unorthodox that she did. But to know that first and only ever female ruler of China ruled China for 45 years and did so bringing China into a period of historic peak in their political power and cultural influence. Now, just before we go to bed, we're going to keep the thing real. I brought out the Bandit Queen. We saw that she had a life started out in poverty, that she was sexually abused, she was hurt. She did not allow that to dictate the rest of her life. She became a political member of parliament in her country. We looked at Shakur, the first woman to be added to the FBI most wanted terrorist list for a shootout incident on the New Jersey Turnpike. We saw a woman that lent her voice, her passion to reform, to change for Black America. And though things went awry, you may not love her, but you just have to see the revolutionist in her. Died in Cuba last year, September 25. We looked at Elizabeth Holmes, and we see an American fraudster, true. But what a brilliant mind. What a brilliant mind. And it goes to show that women, we are not limited to what we can do. Doors are open. There are higher heights, greater heights that we can attain. And here I will interject, let's use it to the benefit of the world, not for self, not for ill gain. Then we looked at Wu, and I look at this woman being the only emperor for the country of China. 45-year rule. So we look at their dynamics. We look at what they've offered. You'd love to hate them, but you can't. And me have to throw in. Me have to throw in a little spin. And me I got show in the joke part. No, before we go to a commercial break, me have to throw it in. Who remember Lorena Bobbitt? Someone you may not want to, a lot of men no want to remember, because I tell you something, Lorena sparked that thing, And I love her statement. Don't be afraid to cut people off. Listen, me love the statement. Don't be afraid to cut people off. Can I say literally? I am not promoting literally, as in literally physically, but literally physically. Because there's levels to literally physically, okay? But Lorna sparked a thing that women who were being abused just decided, say, you know, say, me I go follow suit. And it's not, it wasn't the right meds to follow. It wasn't the right example to follow. But this was sensational. I had to bring her up. So, Lorena Bobbitt, formerly Lorena Gallo, born May 15. The woman everybody in America normally look like. In 1969, was married to the famous man John Wayne Bobbitt. On June 18, 1989, whose relationship received international press coverage in 1993. 1993 when it got down, when everything severed. When Lorena severed John's appendage with a kitchen knife. Interesting tool. While he was asleep in bed. So you see why you need to be up with me just before you go to your bed, just in case appendages will be removed. And, you know, luckily, the appendage was successfully surgically reattached. Was it a good thing that it was successfully reattached? It's up for debate. I would say, well, medically, sure. But, we'll see. So 1993, things got really rough, right? So Lorena, she's an Ecuadorian immigrant, alleged that her husband John, a bar bouncer and former U.S. Marine, had raped and abused her for years. John was charged with rape later that year, but was acquitted and subsequently starred in 2 pornographic films. That's why I said, you know, successfully surgically reattached is up for debate. Because after you go through all of that, you really come do all of that? You never wink keep it in? So you wouldn't have to do all of that? Because that's just ridiculous. All of that. So the next year, Lorena was acquitted of assault by reason of insanity. What a plea. And I know a lot of men hate Lorena Bobbitt, you know, because she stirred up in women certain things and men just didn't like it. You love to hate her, but in reality you can't. You simply can't. Mind you now, you know. Okay, I'll keep that thought. So anyway, she was acquitted of assault by reason of insanity. Please, ladies, don't bother try this at home. Okay? Don't try this at home. This is not going to work out. We can't bother with all of these bobbiting and all of that. Okay? But she went on to start a foundation for domestic abuse victims and their children. You know, the couple divorced 2 years later in 1995. I love the fact that she's lending a voice and, you know, to women who are abused and to their family. But I hope we're not looking at, you know, following suit in severing various ties. Because Lorena severed her husband John's appendage in 1993 in their home in Virginia. Lorena, as she said before in the court hearing, was that, you know, after coming home that evening, her husband sexually assaulted her. And here, I know men will say, some men will say, I hate that woman because you murder you, my wife. It is not sexual assault. Another debate. Okay? So she said after he then went to sleep, she got out of bed and went to the kitchen for a drink of water. Then she grabbed an 8-inch Jinsu carving knife that was on the kitchen counter. She returned to their bedroom. She pulled back the bed sheets and she cut and severed. After this, here is how the severing go far. After this, Lorena left the apartment with the severed appendage and drove away in her car. So she and the appendage went on a joyride. Literally a joyride. No pun intended? Or pun intended? Okay. After a length of time driving and struggling to steer with one hand due to holding right? She decided, me don't want to crash in the night here after this beautiful joyride. I'm just gonna throw the joyous thing out a window into a roadside field on Maplewood Drive. No pun intended at all. I saw the road name and I make it up. The road name, Maplewood Drive. Hey! This is the African in me, okay? I'm just, yeah. Am I enjoying myself too much? I apologize. You know, I'm loving foolness already, Anthony. And you know, it's a quiet. This is a quiet me. I'm very quiet and reserved. So these things does, blush my cheeks a little bit. So bear with me as I enjoy myself. So struggling to steer with one hand during, due to holding the appendage, just dashed through the window over there in the field on Maplewood Drive. She eventually stopped and called 911. So sanity came back to Lorena, telling them what she had done and where to find the apparatus. John's apparatus was found after an exhaustive search. I do believe that size may have caused that exhaustive search. I do believe. You can, correct me if I'm wrong. But after it was found and washed and, with antiseptic and packed in saline ice, it was reattached in the hospital where he was treated. The operation took 9.5 hours, and even after all of that, we learned nothing. John learned nothing. So in the 1990s, he went to be a nice sleazy star, and stated in 2018 that his apparatus is back to normal. So all this time, from 1995 to 2018, it was not back to normal. So what did he use to be a star? So we are glad he's back to normal. Do I want to aid Lorena? No, but I don't really like what she did. And then on top of that, to throw it out the window. Sorry, John, sorry. Good thing the police went on an exhaustive search. And I'm glad we didn't have antiseptic so we could have washed, and pack it in saline ice. And all is well with the world. Now we had to have the serious part and we had to have the little fool fun part, right? But these are women who have impacted our world in one way or the other. So I'm saying to you ladies, there is nothing left to the imagination of women. And I do believe that's scary. I do believe when there's nothing left to the imagination to do, I believe that's when we go on the road of chaos. And that's when I know problem arise. But I want to talk to you about two women who didn't just follow the wave or the woof of the world or how they were feeling at the present time, but followed in the path of God, their creator, knowing that a name means a lot, knowing that in a name, destinies are created. And the fact that they knew they would not be in this world forever, and so the legacy I left behind must never be about a joke, must never be about strategic planning in making my way ahead of the game to gain riches or all of that, but to proclaim the name of the Creator God, their God, Jehovah. Don't go anywhere. Just before you go to bed, we'll continue with celebrating women. In the month of March, the women you'd love to hate, but you can't.
Join us for an unforgettable evening of praise and worship. Clifton Hunter High School presents One Voice, One Praise, happening on Saturday, March 28, 2026 at 6 p.m. at the Clifton Hunter High School Performance Hall. Come and experience powerful performances by students, teachers, churches in the community, special guest visitors. Adults $10, children $5. All proceeds go towards supporting the Key Club and Spanish Venture. Don't miss this uplifting night of worship, unity, and inspiration. See you there.
Yes, welcome back to Just Before You Go to Bed. Your girl, Connie J.E. I'm enjoying myself. Celebrating women. The women you love to hate, but you simply can't. And so to all my friends, female friends, whether you're a friend from work, friend from the neighborhood, friend from down at church, listen, big up yourself. To all my female viewers, you don't know, I'm so glad you're holding it down with me as we celebrate you, me, together. Big up yourself, yeah? You know, above all else, whether we enjoy or laugh at the stories or we're amazed at what women before us have done, we still cannot forget who gave us the strength, the knowledge, the capability, the capacity to make a name or waves. And these two women I'm going to talk about have set the precedent that can never be erased. Women use them to say, here is grounds, or here are grounds, here is grounds for my mindset, my moves. They set the precedent. I don't see why I can't do this or I can't do that. And when it comes to church and a woman's position in it, we tend to, veer to these women. The first I'll talk about is a woman of war. Her name is Deborah. You find her in Judges 4 and 5. So Deborah was unique in the Bible as the only female judge. And I'm going to repeat that. Only. Only. Did I say only? No. Only female judge. She was also a prophetess. Undeniably, can't deny that. And not only that, but she was also a military leader, commanding authority over Israel during a tumultuous period. She settled legal disputes, inspired a pivotal war victory against the Canaanites, and is celebrated as a wise, fearless mother of Israel. In the Bible, Judges 4-5, Deborah is a prophetess, the wife of Lapidoth, and the only female judge of Israel. Remember, Moses was a judge, Joshua a judge, Samson a judge, David a judge and king. So she's following in the same path of leadership. She judged Israel under a palm tree in Mount Ephraim, famously directing Barak, not Obama, but Bible Barak, to assemble 10,000 men and defeat Jabin, king of Canaan, and his captain Sisera. Now, the key aspects, I want to bring out key aspects about Deborah. Fantastic. She was a prophetess. This means that this woman had an intimate connection with God. The greatest thing was that God heard her, and God spoke to her, and God directed her. God also showed her what the future would hold and guided her to be able to lead his people during a tumultuous time. So a prophetess, a judge, and a mother in Israel. And she held court on the palm tree, which is known as the palm tree of Deborah, between Ramah and Bethel. This is in Mount Ephraim. Again, I'll tell you, she commanded Barak to lead troops against Sisera's 900 iron chariots. She accompanied Barak to Kadesh because Barak said, if you don't come with us, Deborah, we can't go, we not go, because your presence here with us means that God is with us. And we can only win the Canaanites if God is with us. If only today men and women acknowledge that without God you cannot win. If only today women acknowledge God as their God and be who they truly were meant to be. And you know what that is? Anything God designed you to be. And so she accompanied him in the war, promising victory, but prophesied that the Lord will sell Sisera into the hand of a woman, that woman we know now as Jael or Jahel or Jahel. Jael. Oh, you pronounce it. You don't know me already do the fine print of the Jamaican and the Caymanian, and you don't know, look a British, look a African. It was up. Alright? Now we know about the Song of Deborah in Judges 5 is a poetic retelling of the victory known as the Song of Deborah. You know, so when we put it all in context, her story occurs Judges 4-5, setting her as a leader during a time of great oppression against Israel. So to all the men who want to hate this woman, you can't. You'd love to hate her, but you can't. And you love to hate other women, but you can't. You know why? God is the master designer. And when God calls you and you answer, He will use you. If you make yourself available, your God, your Creator, will use you. And at such a time as this, the only woman to have ever judged Israel answered the call. And now we have the Song of Deborah, that victory. According to the book of Judges, Deborah was a prophetess of Judaism, the fourth judge of the pre-monarchic Israel, and the only female judge mentioned in our Bible. Yes, it's our Bible. We only have one God, Jehovah God. And His word only is law and truth. So many scholars contend that the phrase "a woman of Lapidoth," as translated from biblical Hebrew in Judges 4 verse 4, denotes her marital status as the wife of Lapidoth. Alternatively, lapid translates as torch or lightning. Therefore, the phrase "woman of Lapidoth" could be referencing Deborah as a fiery woman. Deborah did tell Barak, an Israelite general, that God commanded him to lead an attack against the forces of Jamin, king of Canaan, and his military commander, Sisera. The entire narrative is recounted in chapter 4. So if you don't believe me, go ahead and read it. King James Version, Judges chapter 4. And of course, as I said, 4 and 5 is a full story, gives the same story, but this in a poetic form at this time. The passage we now know, Song of Deborah, dated the 12th century BCE. Can we all be like Deborah? We can strive to attain. Here's a thing that we do have in common with her. We have the same God and Father and Creator. The same God that will choose you if you make yourself available, that you will be great. He will allow you to surpass even what you thought about, imagine, or think. The things that God have in store for us. Oh my God, I just wish if we would just kind of chill. Just chill. And allow Him to lead and to guide us. The next woman is a woman many people not like. Them not like her. A lot of people not like her. Even people under my umbrella don't like her. Don't want to hear about her. Don't want to hear nothing she had to say. Don't want to read her writings. We also have churches today that would love to suppress her writing, would want the Seventh-day Adventist organization to even edit it, her writings, for their own pleasure. The woman I'm talking about, if many of you have not yet already guessed, Ellen G. Harmon White. Ellen Gold White Nee Harmon, born November 26, 1827, died July 16, 1915, was an American author, a daughter of Jehovah. White is considered a leading figure in American vegetarian history. You hear that? Yes, indeed. The Smithsonian named her among the 100 most significant American of all time. Hello. Let's take a sip of water on that. You love to hate her. You simply can't. 100 most significant American of all time. White's biographer and grandson, Arthur L. White, estimated that she reported receiving over 2,000 visions and dreams from God. I do believe. Her book on successful Christian living, Steps to Christ, has been published in more than 140 languages. Boom! The book, Child Guidance, a compilation of her writings about childcare training and education, has been used as the foundation for the Seventh-day Adventist school system. And I say, to God be the glory on that, because it's magnificent. It sets the precedent. There is no better foundation for a school system than this one, Child Guidance. White, as well, was a controversial figure, as much of the controversy was centered on her reports of visionary experiences and on the use of other sources in her writings. You know, because you have a lot of persons says, oh, she plagiarized. Plagiarize what? So if I read something and I am now putting my thoughts on paper and I use the same word, mind you know, plagiarism is when I take an entire quote or saying and make it mine, and you yet cannot prove that she has done that. But if somebody use one phrase and I like the phrase and the phrase, you know, does impact or, you know, give the impact I wanted to give, say what I'm saying, me can use that the phrase then. So me plagiarize. Okay, no problem. We'll move along. So historian Randall Balmer has described White as one of the more important and colorful figures in the history of American religion. Walter Martin described her as one of the most fascinating and controversial personages ever to appear upon the horizon of religious history. Direct quote. Arthur White, her grandson and biographer, wrote that Ellen G. White is the most translated female nonfiction author in the history of literature, as well as the most translated American nonfiction author overall. When God has set you, Him set you. It's amazing. So, her writings covered a broad range of subjects, including religion, social relationships, prophecy, publishing, nutrition, creationism, agriculture, theology, evangelism, Christian lifestyle, education, and health. And that's just to say the least. She advocated vegetarianism. She promoted and has been instrumental in the establishment of schools and medical centers all over the world, with the most renowned being Andrews University in Michigan, and Loma Linda University and Medical Center in California. You know, I'll share this with you. Dr. Kellogg, was able to, with God's direction given to Ellen White, to pass on the message to Dr. Kellogg. He came and he was instrumental, or he's the creator, founder of cornflakes. Oh, I want to say it better than that, but my brain not click like that. So Ellen G. White, God gave her instructions, and sitting with Dr. Kellogg and talking about nutrition and the way families can get better nutrition, and nutrition can even reach to the poorer families. Dr. Kellogg, God gave him the idea for cornflakes. And so that's how we have Kellogg's cornflakes. Yes. So during her lifetime, she wrote more than 5,000 periodical articles and 40 books. As of 2019, more than 200 wide titles are available in English, including compilations from her 100,000 pages of manuscripts maintained by the Ellen G. White Estate. Her most notable books are Steps to Christ, The Desire of Ages, and The Great Controversy. If you've never read any of these books, I would implore you to do so. It's mind-boggling, it's eye-opening. It is direct messages through the Holy Spirit to humanity. March is almost done. It's coming to an end. And the focus will shift from women because, March is Women's Month. But it doesn't mean that your legacy, that who you are, the impact you make on your family, on the world, ends here. What it does say is that God can bring more to you and for you if only you would just come into that relationship and allow Him to lead and to guide you. In today's world, we need the vision. We need the brain. We need the strength of women. We were created helpmeet to our men, and the world cannot function without you in it. Mind you, however, we must, as women, we must be careful on the helms we want to take control of. Does it mean that I cannot be CEO or head of a 500 or Fortune company? Does it mean that I cannot be CEO, manager? Absolutely not. It doesn't mean that. Does it mean that I should put my career aside, my education aside, achieving certain things aside? Absolutely not. You can do every and all things, but I implore us women that while we go out to gain and to achieve all things, that we do so with Christ. We do so guided by His instructions. Do so by knowing where our place is. And when we do that, we become the greatest of leaders. Why? Because we are guided, we are kept, we are governed by the only leader ever, God Almighty. Are we limited because we are female, the weaker version? Absolutely not. Does it mean our voices aren't loud enough to be heard? You see, it is not. God has designed us with a voice. God has designed us with a purpose. What is that purpose? It is written in His Word. How do you know? By reading His Word. How can I attain? By coming into a relationship with God. By submitting yourselves unto God for His perfect direction. Will everything be okay and everything be perfect? Absolutely not. Because we wrestle, we fight against an enemy that does not want us to attain our true place, does not want us to gain the greatest thing that would even blow our mind, because God says, eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, nor have it entered in your imagination the things He has planned for you, the place He will take you. Women. Women of the Cayman Islands, women of Jamaica, women of the Caribbean, women of the Americas, women of the world, I implore you, let your voices be heard. Let us join forces together. Let the real feminist movement be heard and seen. A movement geared in the 10 Commandments, geared in following Jehovah God, the true and only leader. In Him, when He has started a good work in you, He is faithful to complete it to the end. Until next time, same place, just before you go to your bed, join me for a fantastic program coming up. I'm gonna share with you some things. You think tonight or last week was it? Next Tuesday, right here, same place. Look here, put it in your schedule. Book it up in your Outlook. You see me? Because next week is going to be phenomenal. As we end the month of March celebrating women, giving God thanks for you, it's gonna be a bombshell. You don't wanna miss it. Join me, Connie J.E, right here at Flashpoint Media next Tuesday as I celebrate us further. Thank you so much for tuning in, for liking, subscribing, and sharing, for sending your shout outs. It's amazing. I'm so glad to share this time with you. So until next time, from our family to yours, may God bless you. May He go before you, behind you, be beside you. May He bless you and your family and your children and their children and their children. And we say amen until next week. Bye, everybody. Join me this and every Tuesday at 7 to 8:30 p.m. as we discuss various interesting topics and take a look at the current happenings on our island and in our region. Just before you go to your bed, let's touch on the points with your host, Connie J.E, right here on Flashpoint Radio.